You know what? Let me just stop for a second. You know, you hear something like this, and you can't believe this is still going on in our country, that children are being beaten and getting killed by their parents in the name of discipline. Now, Michael Pearl, I have to ask you about this. How do you feel about this book being in the homes, underlined, people folding over pages, using your book to do this kind of discipline, and it ending the lives of two children? What's your response to that?
It's really sad that these kind of things happen. I tell you what, I wish our book was in the home of all abusing parents, because if they'd paid attention to what we say in the book, if they'd actually listened to what we said, then they would not have abused their children. We've got 300,000 people out there right now that have happy, obedient, cheerful children. About 3 million people have been exposed to our ministry, and I receive letters every day from thousands of people, even from the children, who tell me about the blessings that they've experienced from their parents reading this material and applying it in their lives. All we teach is traditional child training as has been practiced for 6,000 years. And we do not advocate beating children. We do not advocate abusing or hurting or leaving marks on them. We decry that, and that's the purpose in our ministry, to bring that to an end.
But you're saying you don't advocate beating children?
Absolutely not, no. We tell
then,
parents
Michael,
never...
I have to ask you. Michael, I have to ask you about this. I'm sorry. It says, I'm looking at page 56 of your book. It says, it's about whipping a 3-year-old child until they're broken. I just want to read this. And Michael, look, you can clear this up for me, because this sounds like beating to me. She then, and you're talking about a parent, she then administrates about 10 slow, patient licks on his bare legs, meaning a child. He cries in pain. If he continues to show defiance by jerking around and defending himself or expressing anger, then she will wait a moment and then again lecture him and again spank him when it's obvious he is totally broken. She will hand him a rag and very calmly say, "Johnny, clean up your mess." He should very contritely wipe up the water. And this is, I guess, when a child is spilling water. Michael, that sounds like beating to me.
No, it's not beating at all. In fact, what we advocate is what 230 million Americans believe and practice all the time, which is simply old-fashioned corporal chastisement. Not beating, not punishing, but just gaining their attention through spankings. These spankings are done with very light instruments, something that cannot bruise the tissue, cannot harm the child in any way, and it's... You know, if it were beating, then we'd have to say that every president of the United States was beaten, because all of them, up until modern times at least, experienced corporal chastisement, and they practiced it on their own children. So what we advocate is traditional. It's not violent. It's a big leap to assume that a loving, kind, patient administration of spanking is in any way going to be violent or lead to violence.